Hello and welcome here to the beautiful Tehidy Woods on this beautiful sunny day. A very special interview that's going to happen today. As you know, our Pudge, our presenter, has been asking us for ages to come and see what he does on the weekends. And we are now going to, because we're here at Chaosgate's LARPing event in Tehidy Woods. I'm joined by Bray. How are you doing, Bray?
Yeah, good. I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, good.
So for everybody watching, Bray, can you tell us a little bit about, well, introduce yourself firstly and tell us a little bit about what's going on here today.
Yeah, we'll say my Bray is, everyone just calls me Bray, you know. So it's not a bad thing, it's just what they call me. I've been known for Bray since donkeys years ago, but it's just one of my many hobbies that I do. Not my day job. We don't get paid for doing this. We do it for the love. So my day job is I work for Western Power. You know, so I get to sort of leave work behind and do something silly like this in the woods, dress up, run around. So
for those that don't know, what is LARPing?
LARPing is live action role play. In essence, you create a character, a bit like the computer games like Skyrim and Warcraft. You actually create your character, but you actually then become that character. So you then make sure you dress up as what you believe that character would look like. And then us as crew and admin, we then put together plot lines, the missions. We have our monster crew, which then to be used for NPCs or bad guys and monsters. So that then the players can try and complete their missions, but also at the same time, they could be attacked and have to defend themselves with a multitude of weapons that we have here.
Fantastic. And so how did you first get into LARPing?
I've always, like any young boy, I always used to pick sticks up and start waving them about and pretending they were swords and everything. And it wasn't until my sort of late teens, early 20s, that a friend of mine started dating another lady who had done it before. And suddenly we went, you mean we could actually put those sword fighting skills to use? I thought actually hitting someone, and I was like, yeah, brilliant. So at the time I was attending another LARP in Derby, which eventually, I think the biggest I ever went to, there was 10,000 of us up there over the weekend. So it was quite a large event. And what really captured me was at the end of the weekend, literally they put us in one big field, split us equally into half, and then told us to run at each other. And it was last person standing, I should say. Okay. That was an experience and a half. So if you see these epic movies where the two armies just charge at each other, well,
that was it.
To actually experience it was that. Then I did that for years. You know, as you do, you get older. We started to get families. The guys I run it with, we all sort of settling down. So we couldn't go away and do the LARPing. So we decided one day, just sat around my kitchen table playing a board game. We just sort of went, well, if we can't go away and do it, why don't we make our own down here in Cornwall? And then we were always like, yeah, let's do it, let's do it. And it just went from there. We started off with a few plastic gazebos in my father-in-law's field down at Leedstown, and it just grew, and we decided that we wanted to get that woodland field, so we found out about the campsite here at Tehidy. So we can camp here, but we can play in the woods.
Brilliant.
It's great. And
Pudge just told us that you're an admin. So can you tell me a little bit about what the admin role is and how it works with the whole event?
Yeah, my sort of side of being an admin is I'm more the logistics side, so I make sure that the tents go up in the correct way, they're stored that way. We've got the van to get it here and everything like that. But what we also do is Harrison is more for the sort of admin side, as in the paperwork side of it, making sure the rules are correct, all the character sheets are done properly, that sort of thing. We've got Rob Shirley, who is he's our plot guy, so he's made up all the storylines. And then we've got Zoe, who's very good at crafting things, making sort of the set dressing. So if you do get a couple of shots inside the tavern later, you'll see all the props that she's made there. And then Johnny Stodd's here as well. He's one of the other founding members of Chaosgate. We just called him sort of like the god, because it was initially his sort of brainchild, right. And we just sort of helped spiral it out, out of course. But for what we do is we tend to make sure throughout the day is we've got all our plot lines, so we then have to ensure that the monsters go off into certain places at the right time, or this bit of, person needs to come in and do this little bit of talkie at the right time, just so those missions that flow properly, etc., they do so.
Brilliant. And can you tell us a little about this weekend's plot lines that you've got going on? What's going to be happening
There's no
this weekend?
players around, so we don't want to give it away.
We've got Pudge behind the camera, but he's too ill to swing an axe, so it's all good.
So basically, we have what's the corruption, which is human beings have been corrupted and they get sort of mutated arms and limbs, etc. It's not just affecting sort of the humans, or the people here of Chaosgate. It's also affecting the sort of wildlife in Tehidy in general. So you get corrupted bees and things like that sort of floating about. And so the players, one of their missions is to find a way to cure the corruption, or at least stop it from happening within the town. So we built a monolith pillar, which is, we can sort of, I can show you a picture on it if you'd like in a minute. And it's going to be hidden off into the woods. So it'll be these guys' job to go and find said pillar. Probably have to defeat some form of big bad guy that's protecting it, get the pillar back here, and so it can start healing Tehidy and the town of Chaosgate. But at the same time, there's going to be an apostle, a dark apostle, who's going to be trying to come in to destroy the pillar, because by destroying the pillar, it weakens the boundary between us and the demon realm.
Okay.
And what he's going to do to damage that pillar, he's going to bring his pet. His pet is a dragon. So please, Pudge, do not say don't say anything.
Sorry, we know Pudge is very good at keeping secrets, aren't you, Pudge?
And so it's going to be epic. I mean, a few years ago, one of our big bads was a spider, and it took about 12 of the monster crew to operate this spider, and we're pretty much going to have probably that amount of people to control this dragon, if not more.
Amazing, fantastic. And what would you say then for lots of different people seem to be here today, older, younger, families?
Yep.
What are the benefits of LARPing, do you find, apart from having a good time, of course?
Well, yeah, I would say what we find is it's an escapism. So if you have it, if you've got a stressful job and what have you, or just have sort of distress or not mental health issues, but we don't like to say that sort of thing. It's just it's a way of stepping away from that you as your normal person, and we call it the escapism. And you just come away, you can play that character, you could be that character, and just sort of immerse yourself into being that role, and then not having to worry about anything else that's been going on in your life. And we don't just carry on in the daytime. In the evening, we have the tavern, and we do in-character stuff in the tavern. For example, tonight is our Mon Hay Festival, sort of the end of the year festival, because this is our last event of the year. I can't remember what we're doing tomorrow night, but it's all good fun and it's good laughs, and we just all interact, and it's a very good community, and it's growing all the time. And we wouldn't be able to do it without the players, but they seem to like it. They seem to keep coming back. It's great.
Brilliant. And obviously we're going to hopefully get some footage of you guys in action when it all kicks off after lunch. But if anybody sees this and wants to get involved, how can they get in touch? How can they get involved?
We've got our website, so you can check out all the details on the website. We've also got our Facebook pages, that sort of thing. But if you're unsure and you're not really sure if playing is going to be your thing, then you can come along and be part of our monster crew, and that's free. So you just turn up with plain clothing, we'll provide you with a costume and the weapon, or if it's a speaky role, we'll just ask you to sort of do these few lines. But just let us know that you'd like to come and do that, and we'll put your name down on the list. You don't have to be here the entire weekend, but if you want to, no problem. If you do want to jump in straight away and be a player, you just need to, again, the website, there's a character creation software which is all there, so you can create a character, pay your ticket. Unfortunately, if you can come down now, but it's going to be, the event's going to probably be over by the time anyone sees us, I expect. But next year, we'll be releasing the dates for our events next year. We sort of run 3 a year. And yeah, just let us know, get involved, it'd be great.
So I've now entered the woods and I've come across a Pisky mage, Lottie, aka Eno. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. We've got glorious weather for it.
Glorious weather, and probably the best dressed person here, I have to say.
Oh, thank you.
So you were telling me that you're one of the original characters, and you're yet to, as Pudge has been explaining to me, characters can be killed off.
Yeah.
But you're still here.
I am still standing. It's a miracle because I used to follow Pudge around in battle. Baldric has a belt, and my character would hold on to the back of his belt and almost ride him through battle, pulling him away from danger and swinging my staff around to sort of counter our powers together. But yeah, I started when Chaosgate did a play test, when they started with a crowdfunder, and have been coming ever since. Took a break because I had my daughter, who is now here along with the mini larpers in the mini crew. She spent most of today guarding the gate.
Brilliant, fantastic. So it's a real family affair now as well.
Absolutely, I love it. You know, she's grown up with all of this and the makeup and the characters. She's that child that isn't scared of orcs, but is scared of Bumblebee. So, yeah.
And so how then did you first get involved with LARP? What was your entry into it?
Mine was always been an uber geek. I teach games design at Cornwall College, so super geeky, and bumped into Chaosgate at Geek Fest when they were first setting up. It was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I get to dress up and play pretend in the woods, and got completely hooked. And then over the years, the characters sort of evolved, developed, the kit has changed. I've made bits, friends have made bits for me, and now it's just the best form of escapism.
And how easy do you find it then coming in and sort of playing the character? Was it something that took a little bit of time to sort of really get into, or was it just straight away, I can be this character?
I think like through experiences, just like sort of real life, your characters grow and build, and their emotions and feelings and alliances and friendships change. I mean, Eno started pretty much as sort of running the tavern. And then she sort of found her feet and became more of a battle mage rather than a service mage. And now she's a sort of all-round character who has some people that she really cares about and some that she doesn't know and doesn't really care about. And that's a nice journey. It keeps you coming back because you go, oh, each event will be different. There'll be a new story to tell.
And when new people come along and with their own characters and stuff, are you sort of someone that kind of takes them under your wing a little bit and guides them a little bit, or are you straight in going, nah, you're getting whacked?
I think she's a little bit more wary now.
Yeah.
She's seen some things, she's lost friends, so she's not as open, but she definitely looks at the young blood and goes, ooh, we need more people. So she'll be someone that will say, hey, what's your skill set? Let me introduce you to the right people.
And I guess something like this, particularly as we're moving sort of beyond the COVID stage of life, has probably been a huge thing for a lot of people in terms of the sense of community, I guess, that's here.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys were awesome. The whole way through COVID, they set up an online role-playing forum, and there was sort of all the group pages and Facebook chats. So everyone had that sort of sense of there's still that family there. And I very much, yeah, Chaosgate is a family. Once you are welcomed into the fold, you know, we all look out for each other. We see each other outside of events. There's, you know, role play groups that go on. There's craft meetups that go on, kit build days. It's really, you know, you can get involved in all different aspects.
Fantastic, yeah. I mean, I've got a film background myself, and this just seems like really kind of all those aspects, but then everybody gets to play the characters as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, you get both sides of it, yeah.
And for anybody who watches this, and you know, we're going to film some of the craziness when it all kicks off, you know, what would you say to them? I think, oh, maybe that's something I want to get involved in.
I think if you're looking for something that is out of the ordinary, that you can do as a family, knowing that everyone's safe and secure, that everyone's looked after, that this is for you. If you like being outdoors, and having that freedom to, hey, I'm going to get involved in a battle, or I'm going to sit in the tavern and have a chat, or I'm just going to walk around the woods by myself for a bit and just get in the mood, then this is definitely for you.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, I think we're going to try and find maybe one more person to speak to, so I'm going to exit the woods and see who else we can find.
Be careful.
Some of you know him as Adam TRUDGEON, some of you know of him as Pudge, but today Baldric Stealgrip is with me in a field, dressed in a tunic, holding an arrow.
I am.
How you doing, Pudge?
I'm doing well, thank you, mate. I'm doing well. I'm really glad to finally get Chaos and Chaosgate talking to each other and sort of interacting, because as you can see, it's a very strange and wacky world up here.
Definitely. And so tell us a little bit then, Pudge. Why did you get into LARP? How did that all happen?
So I've had a lot of friends who have been into LARP for a good 10 years prior to me ever starting, going, you need to come join us, you need to come join us. They go to a LARP upcountry called the Dumnonny Chronicles, DC, which I've now been to as well, actually. Very, very good. There was nothing actually in Cornwall until a few years ago, when the likes of Bray and Johnny and a couple of the other admins created this world. And I actually came along to a lot of what they did, which was the play test. So they were making the rules up and trying to make sure nothing was too over the top, too underpowered, that things were safe. So they were putting on random little fight scenes and sort of tweaking the rules and trying to get it right. And eventually, the first Chaosgate started a few years ago. I can remember it well because pretty much every single person who went to that was not a LARPer, and it was just led by the admins in character, trying desperately to get people to not feel uncomfortable, do a bit of role play. By the end of the event, all the social worries and things like that had gone out the window and everyone was very involved, which is great because this kind of thing attracts a lot of people who may not be actively very social, or they might have a lot of social anxiety, and this really does break down a lot of those barriers very quickly. And it's great because people can get into it at varying levels. You're not forced to go full tilt or do nothing at all. You can do it at your own pace. It's really, really good and really, really inclusive.
Brilliant. And what's been the difference then from that first Chaosgate event to where you are today in terms of, I guess, not only the amount of people coming, but the scale of the events as well?
So I think Bray has mentioned earlier, we started off over in Leeds town, and that was great. We had basically two or three very open large fields, but it was just fields and fields. You could see anything's going on from a mile away, so there was no real ease of planning for the admins to bring in like groups of attackers or anything like that without us clearly seeing there's about to be an attack. But they did very well on those events. We've eventually migrated here to Tehidy Woods, which is a fantastic place to scare a few members of the public while we're around, but it's very, very cool because we end up going out into the woods doing quests, random fights happen, they come to us, we don't see them come until they're coming through that gate, and we're shouting and screaming demons at the gate, you know, that's been one of the mottos for a long time. Everyone's role play has gone right up through the roof, and that's what makes it so fun and so immersive. Everyone's fighting is very good as well now. Like, you don't do this for years and not learn a little bit on how to wield a sword and a shield, an axe, a halberd, or shield formations, or fighting formations. Like, you learn very quickly. If you don't do it right, they're going to take advantage of it and they will kill your characters off, because that's a very real thing that can happen. So everyone's evolved. The system itself has undergone one major change lately, and that was sort of during the COVID period. A few other players at the time actually became admins and joined the admin crew to try and keep it fresh and keep it for what the players want it to be. And again, it's gone from strength to strength effectively. The new system is going really well and we get a lot of good responses. We get a lot of people inquiring. Recently we were at Geekfest and we have just queues all the way through Geekfest just to fight in the arena. We get a lot of people, new people coming from things like that. People don't seem to understand what it is or have heard of LARP, even though it is quite a common thing around the world. So it's lovely to see that we're still attracting people to this and we're still seeing numbers growing. We had a peak at one point of nearly 100 players, and trying to keep track of that is just a nightmare and it's absolutely manic. But I think now we're sort of on 30, 40, which is just nice really. It keeps things manageable for the poor admins who are running around everywhere. But again, we do see more new faces all the time and then returning players as well. It's really good.
And logistically for people who are watching, so how does it work then in terms of, because you go on about killing characters and the fights that happen, how do you determine when somebody has been killed or been injured? I guess a lot of honesty is required from the players as well.
Absolutely. So there are rules that have been written, you can find them online. They've got the handbooks up in the tavern as well. It is about trust, and honestly, like you said, if you've got to be honest with yourself, have you just taken a blow for more than your hit points? I've got 3 hit points, if somebody just hit me and shouted 4, yes, I'm going to the floor. I've just died. I'm going to be theatrical about it and go down. There's rules for things like you can be resurrected in this if you go down and you've been finished off while on the floor. Once an encounter has finished, you've got 5 5 minutes to be resurrected or balmed, which gives you another 30 minutes. And if no one gets to you in that time, your character's gone. You're dead, deaded, gone. Get out, write a new character. It sucks sometimes, but that's how it is, and that's the risk is the half of the fun, isn't it, with it? We've had a lot of characters go down over the years, and honestly, they write their own legacies. And you ask anyone here about characters such as Dante, who is many years ago dead. People still remember him to this day. Even new players who never knew him at the time can come in and go, yeah, we know Dante, he was a great guy, great character. There's lots of great stories that come from this. While it is all fake, it's not as well, because you've actually acted out these characters, and it makes for great storytelling and reminiscing at the tavern of an evening.
And how many characters have you had?
1.
Oh.
But this event may see the final days of Baldric. There's been a long-running joke of RIP Baldric as a hashtag, because I've never died, but I probably should have had my character die. My character will run into stupid situations, but I've been captured. And they've only just found out, they thought they had me back this event, but I'd actually come back in as a creature pretending to be my character. Really hard to act that one. It was meant to last the full 3 days. Well, it lasted an hour. They worked me out very quickly. The admins and I had been chatting to try and make sure it was foolproof. Well, there's a couple of other characters here that have still been around a long time and have special powers that can detect it, and it happened very quickly. So I went back to the admins, tail between my legs, and went, sorry, they found out. So now they're sort of like going, oh no, what do we do? So Baldric's off somewhere, captured and being tortured.
Okay,
Great.
Brilliant.
It's up to them to rescue me.
And for anyone watching this then, what would you say to them about why should they get involved in LARP?
So many reasons. You'll hear a lot of people saying escapism, because it's true. You can get away from anything that's going on in your life and enjoy playing someone else or another being part of a really friendly group that's very, very welcoming. You don't get forced into doing anything you don't want to do, and at any point you can put your hand in the air and say, no, I'm not here, and everyone will just leave you alone and ignore you. That's the symbol for our character. It's worth it because you can be as social as you want. You don't have to be as social as what you want. You can be as fighty as you want. You can be completely non-combat. You can role play as much as you want, or you can just be a mute. It's up to you. It's really fun. You get outside, and we're lucky enough right now to have some sun. It's so good, and I would definitely recommend it for mental health. It really does help level you out.
Brilliant, thank you, Pudge.
No problem.
We're going to go and try and find a few more of the players.
Well, I mean, we can sort of take a pot shot with a bow and arrow, and then say that one's the one we'll interview next.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Fantastic.
Let's go and do that. I'm now here with Vicky. Vicky, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good. Now, I'm really enjoying actually. I've just been shooting Pudge with an arrow, which has been a lot of fun.
You were very good, I was watching.
Well, yeah, we'll probably get that in this video somewhere, of me hitting Pudge with an arrow. Tell me about this staff you're holding, which looks very cool.
So this is actually Lottie, who I think you'll be interviewing a bit later. It's her staff, and it's obviously slightly elven, Viking kind of, you know, thing going on with it.
Some pagan vibes in there.
Yeah, like proper pagan. So we've got a friend called Ian, he's here, and he got into like making weapons and made friends with him and said, look, can I make a staff for my friend? And we went down to his house in his little workshop. His wife loves that. And yeah, we sort of put it all together, and in a weird way, some bits went wrong, but then it kind of ended up right. Lottie did quite a lot of the colouring. I helped her with that, but the base of it, I built most of it, all with EVA foam and a core and everything. And yeah, you basically just stick stuff together, put some paint on it, and you got yourself a weapon.
Brilliant. And so yeah, you use this as a weapon in game then?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's Lottie's, but yeah, it's a staff, so it's long ranged, which is
Ah, so is it more sort of
good fun.
mage-like, is it then?
Yeah, 100%. Lots of mages use like staffs and stuff, so because they can stand a bit further back and not get hit so much, a little bit squishy.
Fantastic.
But they're very good with the magic, which is cool.
Just so people know then, so how does that work then in practice in the game? So assuming, are they sort of shooting something out of the staff? Are they sort of taking possession of people?
It's kind of like evolved.
Yeah.
So some people will go, like it's a ranged attack, and they'll use their hand, they use eye contact with you and tell you what they are. Others come up LARP and touch. I think it depends on the kind of the ability that the mage has.
Right.
So it comes in different ranges, but you know, as long as everybody knows
Yeah.
what their range is, be it touch or not, they can touch with the staff.
Okay.
But it's more obvious when it's
Yeah,
sort of with the
yeah.
hands. So yeah.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. And so, how did you first start getting involved in LARP?
Well, I have a very strange background. I'm actually a dancer by trade, and I came back from working on holiday parks, back with my friend, and we were round to his sisters one day, and his brother-in-law said, "Hey Vicky, would you like to come and be on the monster crew for LARP?" And I said, "Huh? What is that? You nerds." And we had a bit of a giggle about it, and I was quite apprehensive because I was like, wow, this is really out of my comfort zone. But with dance and theatre, they were like, you're going to love it, and you're quite a ruthless woman. So I went along to, it was their third event that they'd ever done. I went along, I got taught how to pull my blows and fight with people. I was very nervous. The first fight I went out on, I came back literally like, I want to go again. And I've been in love with it ever since. And I've done things like make weapons. I mean, right now I'm just in generic monster crew, but I did have a character called Siggy based off of Lagertha from Vikings, who unfortunately has died. But yeah, I've like been making my own kit and stuff like that, because you could buy stuff, but then you can also make it, and it's kind of a bit more special when you make it yourself. So yeah, I basically came out of my nerd closet.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Have you got a new character in the works then?
I have. She's another Viking.
Yeah.
Still in the works. I'm not sure if I want to go slightly more magical with her,
Okay.
or if I want to stick to fighter. So yeah, I'm a bit of a fighter. The Chaosgate lot get a bit scared when Vicky's back.
well, next year then. It could be the
Yeah.
return of Vicky.
Yeah.
And tell us a bit about their monster crew. What does that entail then over the weekend?
So we are like, you know, we are at the admin's domain. You know, it's for the players to be able to continue their quests and adventures through the plot, and we're there as a physical representation for them to fight. So depending on the plot at the time, at the minute we've got like corrupt creatures. So we've got all these big, like weird and wonderful things coming out of our arms and our heads and stuff, and we'll corrupt some of the town, or we might be bandits that are trying to steal from people walking on the road. It's like a nice physical representation instead of pretending, oh, something's after me. They've got something to
actually.
yeah. And the more we've done it, you know, people know certain tabards that we wear or masks that we wear will deter if we're a demon, if we're corrupt, if we're like a plante, a priv, and yeah, so on and so forth. So our aim is to, you know, the players have paid. Our aim is to make sure that the players have a great time and have that physical representation to actually fight with somebody.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
And again, it makes it more immersive as well, isn't it? You know, it's
So
like,
much
it's like acting,
more.
isn't it? If you've got something to work off, it's a lot easier.
Well, currently I'm working on Shrek the Musical, and you know, we've had a bit of people being on holiday and stuff,
Yeah.
so we're missing people in rehearsals, and we try and talk against no one. I've been many characters, so yeah.
Brilliant. And so anyone watching this then, why should they get involved in LARP and maybe Chaosgate next year?
Well, going slightly more off on a different tangent, I'm sure a lot of people have struggled mentally with COVID and just life in general. For me, it's been, you can just let yourself go. I don't have to be Vicky that, you know, works a day-to-day job. I can come here, I can let myself go, I can have fun with my friends, I can be 3 or 4 different things that's not me for the weekend, which is something quite special. So yeah, if you want an out, a little getaway, and just to have a load of fun and also hit people with foam, it's amazing. Just to get some stress release.
There you go. Well, I think just being able to hit people with foam, that's probably right there and then.
Like I said, saw you with the bow and arrow earlier. I think you're gonna have
to
more.
say, if I could do it, if I could shoot Pudge with a bow and arrow every now and then, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I have to take that back to the office with me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I think we're going to go and find some more people, find out their stories as well. So let's see who else we can find. So I'm here by the gate, which is being guarded from all the monsters to make sure that they don't come in without us knowing. But I'm also here now with Faye, aka Nettle,
Yep.
and Ethan, aka Rungus. I'm getting that one right. I'm glad I got that one right. And amazingly, 15 years ago was the last time you were LARPing, Faye.
Yeah, at least that's a conservative.
Yeah.
It was about 15 years ago, before children. It seems like a whole lifetime ago. This is another one.
This is a lovely bear mask you've been making as well,
Yeah,
which is disappearing now, but it was there for a brief second.
We've had a frantic week of making everything, haven't we? And the boys have got involved in it as well, which is awesome. Do some leather work and yeah.
And Ethan, is this your first time here doing this?
I did some of the LARPing with the crew at Geek Fest, but otherwise, no, it's my first time.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm really looking forward to poisoning
Oh,
someone and just bashing people to bits.
well, I can't imagine anything more fun, to be honest. And so tell me then, you stopped doing it 15
Yeah.
or so years ago. Why come back now?
we have the last couple of years since lockdown, we really got into Dungeons and Dragons. The boys really love it, so we've been doing a lot of tabletop role play. It was absolutely amazing during lockdown being able to do that. We've also always loved dressing up and getting in character. We've got a massive fancy dress wardrobe, and we went to Geek Fest 2 weeks ago, and the Chaosgate crew were there. And had the big sort of fighting arena for people to join in, and we went back the second day, and that is all we did for the whole day, wasn't it? We fought, went to the back of the queue, fought again, and the guy said, hey, we've got an event, which we hadn't heard about before, so we thought it'd be really good fun.
Brilliant. And what was it then that initially drew you to LARP in the first place?
I love the sort of the fantasy world. I love costume making. I love dressing up. I've always loved the fantasy novels, so being able to reenact that and feel like you're part of the story is the bit I really like. The acting part, the role play part. The boys, pretty much the sword fighting, I think.
Yeah, and I also think it's really good because it just lets your thoughts flow free. You can basically just go wild.
Yeah.
Very well said. Yeah, brilliant. And so what have you been doing so far on this particular day of plots and everything that's going on?
So we've just been introducing ourselves to a few different people, finding out about the different guilds and the shops. So far really we've just been relaxing, we've put our tent up, and yeah, boys been guarding the gate, ready for any monsters that might come through.
Werewolves.
But yeah.
Werewolves.
You heard a werewolf recently. Wow. Do you feel prepared then if one was to show up?
Yeah,
Yeah, you think you could take it down?
probably.
Love the confidence, love the confidence. And so I guess one of the big things we've noticed as well is, and obviously from yourself, is these are very family-friendly events as well. And so I guess, is that a usual thing for LARP, or is this quite unique for
In my
Chaosgate?
experience, it was all adults.
Yeah.
Sort of older teenagers upwards. So this is completely new for me. Being
Right.
able to bring the kids is just amazing. And I wouldn't have come if I couldn't bring them. So yeah.
And how have you found that blend then, I guess, of having the kids and the older players as well? How has that worked?
So as far as what we've experienced so far, everybody is so welcoming. The older non-player characters in particular are really engaging with the boys, really patient, really good fun. I think it's going to be really nice to have that mix, and in some ways it makes it feel more real as well. You've got families all together, which is lovely.
Absolutely. And are you feeling prepared for the battles that are coming as well?
I've got a little cheat sheet because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm meant to be a healer, and I'm not quite sure how it all works.
Going around and making sure everybody's okay.
It'll be fine.
Oh, I'm sure it will be, I'm sure it will be. And so anyone who's watching this then, maybe who stepped out of LARP for a while or has never done it, what would you say to them about Chaosgate and maybe getting involved in the future?
As somebody that was incredibly nervous, I've been made to feel really welcome, that it's really, really good fun. It's quite laid back, and yeah, just do it.
Fantastic.
Just come and do it.
Fantastic. It seems like everyone's really enthusiastic here today. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go and actually see some of the action unfold, maybe even cut it together with some nice epic battle music. But it's been fantastic talking to everyone, so we're going to go and see it all play out for real.